All right, welcome in everybody. This is Tai Chi Fusion week number 5. If this is your first week, what we've been doing is a 5-week series. So this is our final class in this series. There might be a couple bonus sessions where we mix the moves together in different ways, but we've been learning 12 different moves over 5 weeks. 4 moves each week, and essentially we're dropping 2, adding 2, dropping 2, adding 2. So 2 of the moves that we do today, we did in week 4, and 2 of the moves we do today, we did not do last week or any of the prior weeks. Okay, so we're adding 2 new moves in today. If this is your first class, you're welcome to stick around for this, absolutely. But you might start with week 1, 2, 3, or 4 because they do progressively get a little bit more challenging. All right, let's get warmed up here. Shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs, roll the wrists, bend the elbows, roll the shoulders, and switch directions. All right, let's turn the head left and right. Gentle movements here just to get the blood flowing, get the fluid moving through the body. And eyes forward. Sink down to the knees and hips. Warm up with circling out and up high. Breathing in. Exhale, circle out and down. Now, if you like these type of movements, these warm-up movements that we're doing here, pairing our movement with breathing, you might try one of our Qigong classes. It's spelled a little differently. It's not C-H-I, it's Q-I-G-O-N-G. And it looks like a close cousin of Tai Chi. We use it as a warm-up for these Tai Chi classes, but it's also a great standalone class. It's a lot of this stuff. Exhale as we sink down. Breathe in as we pull the hands apart, breathing in. Exhale, hands come close to the center. Breathe in as we pull apart. Exhale as we come close to the center. Last one, breathing in as we pull apart. Exhale, sink down. All right. Another warm-up move here. This is called Bear in the Woods. Nice wide feet, sinking down and rotate the spine. Now we don't want to twist the knees here. We're just rotating at the spine. Weight shift left and right. Our Tai Chi Fusion classes are called Fusion because we're borrowing and mixing from multiple Tai Chi family origins, okay? So there's several families that teach ward off differently, right? Or single whip differently. We are mixing a grouping of these families together. And so that being said, it's not a traditional 8-form class or 24-form class or 108-form class, whatever you would see in China, right? This is our own mix. Consider it our own choreography, right? It's our own dance, our own sequence. It's been a lot of fun, but you wouldn't see this pattern exactly. You'll see some of these moves out there if you do more Tai Chi beyond this, but some of them may look a little different if they're different family origins, okay? And slow it down, slow it down. So this demonstrates one of our 4 elements of Tai Chi that we've been working on week to week. We've been working on 4 moves each week and 4 elements that have stayed the same, actually. 4 elements have stayed the same. This is called controlling every degree of motion, okay? So slow motion movement, acting as if we're moving through with momentum, but you're kind of faking the momentum, right? When we were going fast motion, it flies around. It uses this momentous force, right? If you slow it down, you control every degree of motion. All right, and that'll be applied more later when we're stepping so that we don't step too big for ourselves, right? We want to control that. And that'll come up as we do our class today. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. So yeah, we'll review that one and the other 3, so 4 elements that we've done each week. 4 moves, 4 elements. Here we go. The first thing we want to do is holding the ball. Okay, we're just reviewing this because this move, or this posture I should say, comes in between each move. It's the connecting piece. Imagine it like the fundamental. It's dribbling the basketball or dribbling the soccer ball, right? It gets us from one move to the next. So we hold the ball like this. Put your weight in one side. I'm on my right foot. It's okay with me if you're on the opposite. And that means I'm gonna have my right hand on top. Switching over to the other side, if you're on your left foot, left hand on top, cradling underneath the ball. You don't really wanna roll over the top of the ball, not just because it's not traditional, but also because it'll mess you up when you do these other moves if you accidentally have the wrong hand on top of the ball, right? So you wanna have the same side that your weight is on, you wanna have that side on top. Left foot, left hand on top. Right foot, right hand on top, okay? Now let's warm up our stepping. We've been doing what we call a clockwork form, stepping in different directions, kind of sort of around a clock, okay? So it's 4 different directions with the left foot, 4 different directions with the right foot. I'm gonna start with my right hand's on top of the ball, and I'm gonna step forward first. So forward step, and weight shift back to the ball. Diagonal step, your hands don't matter here. This is all about our feet. Come back to hold the ball. You can do whatever dance moves you want. The left toe points out to the left, dance moves. Come back to hold the ball. Now in our first 3 weeks, the left toe pointed forward because of the moves that we did in those weeks. Last week, week 4, and this week, our toe points left, and that's because of the move that we're gonna go with when we step to the side. Come back to hold the ball. Stepping backward, the biggest important part here is that you don't turn the toe too far, right? Don't rotate open too much. Here's what too much looks like. Imagine you've got an opponent in front of you and you're not turning to run from them, right? Don't go run from your opponent. Don't turn your toe the opposite direction. Don't open up beyond 90 degrees. And for me, I actually don't really open up beyond 60 degrees. It should just feel like a natural step back, kind of like a fighter in the ring, right? You're bouncing front to back, you've got one toe forward, and your back toe's just opened up a little bit, emphasis on a little bit. It should just be a natural soft step back, okay? Come back to hold the ball, and then we'll switch sides. Warming up our stepping to the right. So forward step with the right foot, whatever you want with your hands, come back to hold the ball. Diagonal step with the right foot, whatever you want with your hands, come back to hold the ball. Right step with the right foot, so I'm gonna point my toe out to the side because of the move that we're doing today. They aren't parallel feet today, not facing you, they're facing the side, okay? Step back with the right foot and forward to hold the ball. All right, those are our 4 stepping directions with the left and 4 stepping directions with the right. Right, notice there's a diagonal forward, but not a diagonal backward. It's forward, diagonal, side, back, forward, diagonal, side, back, okay? And I'll do some of the moves to the side today so that you get a better view from our side profile. Here we are. We briefly talked about one of our elements, that's controlling every degree of motion. It will be applied to all of our moves really, but there will be some emphases on certain directions that we step. Our first move today is called knee kick box the ears, right? Some moves in Tai Chi are very abstractly named, like Fair Lady Works the Shuttle, which we'll do today. This one, very clear, knee kick box the ears. It's a forward stepping move, but I'm gonna do it to the side so you can see a side profile, it'll be easier to see. Holding the ball on my right hand side, meaning I'm kicking with my left. So here it is. Hands come up toward the shoulders. Knee, kick, step, and box the ears from the side. I won't get into it too much today because it's a review from last week, but it's all those things sort of flowing together at once. When we're first learning, it's kind of choppy, right? Because it's 1, 2, step, and circle around. But as we get to know the move better, it should be a little more fluid. Watch my arms. They'll continue to move the whole time. Okay? If you have any issues with balance, then you don't really want to step too big for yourself, right? You want to step small, right? And you also don't need to pick your foot up very high. I will show this quick modification. Keep your toe down. This is kneeing someone, right? Knee. Keep your heel down. This is kicking. Instead of kicking high, you can kick with your heel on the ground. And then you can just weight shift forward to box the ears. Boxing the ears is quite literal. It's from the sides, right? It's not a forward punch like double fists in our first week. It's side, okay? So here's what it looks like head on. Holding the ball on my right hand side, knee, kick, step forward and box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Knee, kick, and box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. All right, switching sides. I'm gonna do this at a diagonal. Maybe that'll be a good view for this particular one. Holding the ball on my left-hand side, right? And where do you hold the ball? Just wherever. It's kind of like a sloppy, elbows bend. It shouldn't be like a rigid, stiff karate chop type of thing. I don't do karate, so I don't know if that's real, but you know, it shouldn't be rigid. Just bend the elbows on your side. There you go. Hands come up as the knee rises. Knee, kick, step, and box the ears, kind of all in one fluid movement. You decide the height of your kick and the length of your step. I mentioned the emphasis of controlling every degree of motion. That really comes into play with this move, with our stepping, okay? And we've talked about it a lot in the previous classes. Here it is. Don't step so far that you have to land into place. See that? As soon as you go too far, you're beyond your tipping point. Once you reach that tipping point, there's no retracting the foot. We're not gonna retract the foot, but we want the ability to, right? We want to be in control of every degree of motion. So instead, reach the foot forward. I just touched my heel to the ground, and I know that I can retrieve it if I chose to, right? So I did not exceed my tipping point, right? Knee kick, oh, never mind. Kick, never mind, right? If you step too far, it'll be kind of dings in two accounts, right? So I'm not taking your grades off, right? It doesn't bother me any. I'm not grading you, but just know for yourself that it's a little bit less safe and you're not using the strength of the legs if you're falling into place. And if you've stepped too far, you're also probably launching back, right? You're also using momentum to come back to your neutral stance to your ball. So try not to step too far because you'll step too far, and then two, you'll have to launch back. Instead, what we want to do is control how far you step so that you can weight shift back and retrieve that foot. So we don't want to launch back, we want to step, weight shift back, and retrieve the foot. Okay? That's it for our first move. And our first element, controlling every degree of motion. That'll apply for our side stepping moves as well. You don't want to step too far to fall into place. You want to step within your tipping point. Okay, something great to practice. The next element that we've talked about each week has been, we'll get to breathing later. This one is vertical spine. Okay, so vertical spine or posture, right? If you're here for low back pain, you want to make sure your spine is nice and straight and up and down the whole class from the get-go. If you're 10 minutes in and you've been leaning a lot from moves like this, boxing the ears, you should still have a vertical spine and even tuck your tail so it's vertical from the bottom to the top, right? What's really tempting with this move is leaning forward in boxing. So we want to avoid that. The next move that we do, last week it was brush the knee. That's a tempting move to lean with. Today will be Fair Lady Works the Shuttle, another tempting move to lean with. We want to avoid leaning. So that's two elements reviewed today. Vertical spine as we do all of our moves. Okay? Kind of floating around on your legs, but your spine stays up and down. All right, that's it for move number 2 and 2 elements. Move number 1 and 2 elements. Move number 2. This is our diagonal stepping move of today. Like I said, it was brushing the knee last week, which is a low block and a push through. Very similar with this move, except it's a high block and a push through. This move is called Fair Lady Works the Shuttle, and for some reason, I don't know if it's just weird coordination for me, Once you work on going one direction, this move can be tricky going the other way. I don't know, it's hard to flip. But you get used to it. So with this move, I've heard it called a couple of different things. I've heard it called spin the ball, holding the ball on my right hand side as I step diagonally to the left. Imagine I'm holding this like globe, right? A world globe, okay? And it's like I'm tossing it over there to the left and spinning it, okay? Spin the ball, spin the globe. I've heard it called spin the ball, okay? That's a poor translation. It's really not called that. It's not originally called that. But that's what I've heard it called, probably just because of the movement. I've called it the Vanna White because it's like you're presenting a nice new bright red Jeep or something. I don't know, whatever kind of car you got in your Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy game show game. So this is the Vanna White, right? You present to the left, and then later we present to the right. But the martial art application is probably the best way to really get the move down in the way that it's sort of intended to be, the most traditional way, and also just the most natural way. Here it is, the martial art application. As we step diagonally to the left, it's as if we're stepping into our opponent. Okay, so step into your opponent. And I'm going to come up with my low hand, my left hand, my bottom hand comes up to block high. Now, I don't know what they're throwing at you. I don't know if it's some kind of weird roundhouse kick or arms or whatever. But the movement is a high block. Maybe it's just a punch and you're just throwing the arm up. And two choices here. You can push through, just like we did with brush the knee, or you can chop. Kind of a diagonal chop, like at the side, crick of the neck or something. Chop with the high block. Come back to hold the ball. So diagonal step, high block and chop, or diagonal step, high block and push through. Open palm, okay? Come back to hold the ball. All right, I'm gonna switch sides here, switching sides. So now my left hand is on top, my left foot is my root foot. I'm gonna step diagonally to the right. Diagonal step, high block, and either push through or high block and chop. So notice this high hand is the attacking hand or the pushing hand. Depends on if it's a little more defensive or offensive, right? And then the bottom hand becomes this high block twist, okay? From the side, let me just show you from the side for another angle. Stepping diagonally, high block and push through, okay? Come back to hold the ball. All right, that's it for our second move. I mean it this time, that was two moves. So two moves and two elements talked about. We'll do more of them as we connect them together because we're gonna do our full pattern here in a few minutes. Side stepping, this is a review move from last week. This is called single whip. And I'm gonna do the simplified version really quick and the more complex one. I talk about it more in the previous class, but here it is. Draw the hands up toward the shoulders, pretty simplified. Step pointing the toe to the side, to the left for me, and push in two different directions. I'm gonna push toward you and toward the side over my left foot, right, over the side. Come back to hold the ball. And that's with open palms. And then I'll make it more complicated and I'm gonna do the one where I draw the hand up, toss an imaginary whip in the air, step left, and I push forward while I look over the left hand and it whips. I know that sounded like a bajillion steps. If you wanna see more details on it, go back a class after this one. I don't think you need to do it right now. I would just do the simplified version, hands to the shoulders and push in two different directions if you'd like. The more complex one, again, draw the hands up, toss and catch, push forward and whip left. Come back to hold the ball. Switching sides. So now my left foot is my root foot, left hand is my top hand, and I'm gonna come up toward my shoulders and push to the right and push forward. Come back to hold the ball. I'll do the complex one here. Draw the hand up, toss the whip in the air and catch it with the right and whip to the right. Come back to hold the ball. So you decide if you're more simplified with open palms, forgetting about this whole whip thing altogether, or if you want to honor the name and the traditionality of the move. For this family origin anyway, it's called single whip. So you've got one whip in that right hand, and you can draw it up with the left, catch it as you step, single whip to the right. That's your hot hand, your offensive hand, so your eyes usually look over the hand with the attack, with the whip. And your left hand can push forward, or your forward hand has a palm, I should say. Come back to hold the ball. All right, we've got 3 moves. Let's connect those 3 moves really quick before we get to our 4th move and before we talk about more elements of Tai Chi. So the first 2 elements here are controlling every degree of motion, so don't step too far for each of these moves. It's a forward move first, a diagonal move, and a side move. Not stepping too far so that we can control our motion. It also has to do with speed, right? So you're not flailing through the moves really quickly, right? So that you're controlling that motion. And then our other one is keeping a nice vertical up and down spine, regardless of where our lower body's at and where our arms are, right? These aren't real moves, I'm just moving around. Your spine is still vertical and your tail should be tucked so that we're not straining connective tissue and soft tissue in the low back, right? You want to tuck the tail so it's nice and vertical, okay? Those 2 elements, try to mind those 2 elements as we do forward stepping, diagonal stepping, side stepping, switch sides, forward, diagonal, side. 3 moves, 2 elements. Let's give it a shot. Nice deep breath. Holding the ball on the right. And knee, kick, box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Diagonal step, high block, and push through. For Fair Lady Works the Shuttle. I know, great name, right? Hold the ball. Stepping to the left, single whip. Pushing forward, whipping left. Come back to hold the ball. Switch sides. Knee, kick, box the ears. Nice vertical spine. Come back to hold the ball. Fair Lady Works the Shuttle. Diagonal step, high block, and push through, or chop, you decide. Come back to hold the ball. Single whip. You decide how complex you want to make this. And whip. Come back to hold the ball. All right, I'm going to do those 3 one more time. Quick run through here. I might speed it up just a little bit. And here we are. Nice deep breath. Knee, kick, step, box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Fair Lady Works the Shuttle. This is diagonal step, high block, and push through. Hold the ball. Single whip. I'm doing the simplified version this time. Hold the ball. Switch sides. Knee, kick. You decide how high you're going to kick. Box the ears. Hold the ball. High block and push through, or chop. I'm going to chop. Hold the ball. Hands to the shoulders and push for single whip. Traditionally, right, you draw it up, catch it, and whip. But I've simplified it with just 2 open palms, 2 different directions. Kind of just working on the gross motor skills, the large movements, right? If you don't want to get too technical with the fingertips, right? That's kind of silly sometimes. Too much to worry about. Don't worry about anything. Just do what feels like a moderate challenge, I would say, is the best way to de-stress and enjoy the class. All right. There we go. Moving on to our 4th move. Now, this move, much like single whip, I think those are our 2 most challenging moves, or at least they have the capacity to be because of how technical they can get. This 4th move is a rear stepping move. It is called Repulse the Monkey, right? Great name, right? They get pretty abstract with how they name some of these. And then some of them are simple, like double fists or knee kick, box the ears. So fun. Okay, here is what I'm going to say is a very simplified version of the move, and then we'll make it more and more complex. This is our 2nd new move of the week, which means it's our final new move of our 5-week series. We did Fair Lady Works the Shuttle today as one of our new moves, and this one is Repulse the Monkey. Here's our simplified version. It's a back step, but I gotta show you from the side or else you're not gonna be able to see what I do. Holding the ball on the right, I'm gonna step back with my left foot, okay? So it's a weight shift back, but remember, we're not turning the toe away from your opponent. It's just creating a little bit of space. It's not turning to run, okay? So step back with the left foot, and I'm going to push my right fist forward and left fist back. I know, traditionalists are like, that's not the move. This is a simplified version. I'm gonna say this is bow and arrow, like you're pulling the band back, right, on the bow and arrow. Okay? So as I step back with the left, the right hand goes forward and left hand comes back. Now you can have an open palm in the front if you'd like, whatever you like, because it's a modification anyway, right? So do what your body wants to do. And I'll make it more complex as we go. This is a 3-step move. So here's what that looks like. Step back with the left and pull the bow and arrow. Step forward and switch hands. Back with the right, pull the bow and arrow. Step forward and switch hands. Back with the left, pull the bow and arrow. Okay, we've stepped 3 times. Now drop the hands, step forward, and hold the ball. Here's what it looks like again. Step left for 1, switch sides, right for 2, switch sides, left for 3, drop the hands, and hold the ball. If you were a part of weeks 1, 2, 3, I think that was it, you saw some cyclical moves like wave hands like clouds, where we did 3 on each side, left, right, left, right, left, right, and Chen style ward off. Not the most common ward off, but this is Chen style ward off, diagonal, diagonal. We did that 3 times on each side, right? This one has a similarity where we go back and forth, but it's not 3 on each side, it's 3 total. So it's left, right, left, or if you're starting on this side, then it's right, left, right. Anyway, here's what it looks like again. This is a simplified version. Holding onto the ball on my right hand side, I'm gonna pull a bow and arrow back on the left, right? I'm gonna step forward. Pull a bow and arrow back on the right, step forward, back on the left again, drop the hands and hold the ball. Okay, let's switch sides here before I make it more complex. Switching sides. My left foot is my root foot, okay? So this foot is my root foot, and I'm gonna step back with my right, holding the ball with my left hand on top. Step back with the right and pull a bow and arrow. Weight shift forward, switch feet. Left hand pulls back, weight shift forward, right steps back for 3, drop the hands and hold the ball. Let's come back into it. Right steps back, forward, left for 2, forward, right for 3, drop the hands and hold the ball. Okay, that's our move. You're welcome to do it as simplified as you want through the whole class and forever and beyond, right? I'm gonna make it more complex now. So choose the parts that you want to be more challenging, right? You decide your own challenge level. Starting with my right foot as my root foot now, right hand's on top of the ball. All right, instead of pulling back with a fist, I'm going to round over, okay? So instead of pulling straight back, kind of in at my ribs like I'm pulling a bow and arrow back, I'm going to have an open hand and sort of swim move back. See how it's kind of this rounded oval shape, okay? Let's do this for a second actually. Come over the forehead or eyebrow area. It's like you're swimming back, okay? Swimming back. Come back over the eyebrow and then open palm, push, okay? Wrist comes back over the eyebrow, open palm, push. This is the movement, okay? Over the eyebrow, push. And there's a reason for that. Remember the move's called repulse the monkey, right? Or repulsing the monkey. You're gonna imagine, or I'm gonna imagine, you choose, that there's a little monkey on this ledge here, right? Got my palm open and I'm gonna push him off the ledge, right? So we are repulsing the monkey. Here's how we get there. Step back with the left foot and swim over with your left hand. So backstroke with the left hand over the eyebrow. The right hand, the forward hand, palm turns up. So turn the palm up, and then this left hand is gonna push the monkey off the cliff as we step forward. Right, so it can get pretty technical if we want to get all that down. Step back, turn the palm up, and push him off the cliff. Okay, then the right hand swims back. Step forward and push him off the cliff. Let's just do this same thing cyclically here for a second. You don't need to do 3 exactly. Let's just keep pushing. So pull back, push him off the cliff. Swim, move back, palm up, push him off the cliff. Step back, push him off the cliff. See, stepping back, weight shift forward, retrieve the foot. Push him off the cliff. And I'm sort of circling my hand around to turn my palm up. It feels like a lot more flow and feels natural for me too. But you can just turn the palm up. It's not critical here. It's just palm up so that you have a monkey there. I always picture one of those beanie babies, the Tai TY beanie babies. I don't know. That's what I'm pushing off, that size. Okay, starting with my left side now as my root foot. So this is why I didn't do this facing you, because it's a very linear move backward. So I'm going to step with my right foot. My left foot is going to be my root foot. Left hand's on top of the ball. And I'm going to actually try for 3 now. Okay, so right, come back to hold the ball. Right, come back to hold the ball. Here's what it looks like. Breathe in. Step back with the right. Swim over the eyebrows as the front palm turns up. Okay, so step back, front palm turns up. So weight shift forward, push the monkey off the cliff. Okay, step back as the palm turns up, push the monkey off the cliff. Okay, palm turns up. This is our 3rd step back, so we're not going to push him off the cliff again. We don't push him for the 3rd time. We just step 3 times, step forward to hold the ball. Okay. Just to reiterate, we don't push them off the cliff 3 times. We look like we're going to, but we do step 3 times. Let me just do an actual 3-step now with no pauses and show you what I mean. Okay, holding the ball on the left, step back for 1, 1 push, step back for 2, 2nd push, step back for 3, drop the hands, and hold the ball. Okay, we probably got another 15, 20 minutes before the end of class, so we're almost there. But step back with the right, and we'll get a chance to mix all of this together. You guys are doing awesome. Step back, and 3. Oh, there we go. I pushed him off the cliff too many times. So here we are, holding the ball on the left. One more time, holding the ball on the left, stepping back with the right, palm up on the left, push, step back with the left, palm up on the right, push, step back with the right, palm up on the left, and drop the hands, hold the ball. So it's 3 steps, 2 pushes, okay? Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. I know, that one can get kind of heavy on the technicalities. I honestly, even though if you know the specifications of the move, it can be more enjoyable to simplify it, right? If you're doing a class for stress, then don't stress out by doing the class, right? Do a simplified version. I think for me, the gross motor skills, the large motor skills of just doing the simplified version, it feels kind of good, okay? So we've got 4 moves now: forward, diagonal, sideways, and back. Let's try 4 moves toward the left, right? With my right foot as my root foot, stepping left. Then we'll switch sides and do 4 moves to the right. And we'll come back to hold the ball. I'm gonna do this facing the wall, I think, because there's a lot more to get out of seeing me from from the side view, I think, for some of these. So I think it'll be better if I face the wall for this round, okay? I'm still only focusing on these two elements, vertical spine and controlling every degree of motion. I'm not worried about the breathing one that we briefly mentioned, but I'm not gonna get there quite yet. We'll get there today, but a few more minutes and then we'll add that element in. If you wanna do it, if you already know the breathing techniques, great, go for it. Here we are, holding the ball on the right. Nice deep breath. Exhale for knee, kick, box the ears. If you want to keep doing the breathing, you can, but I'm just going to focus on keeping my spine vertical and stepping within my tipping point. Fair lady works the shuttle. Come back to hold the ball. Single whip. Come back to hold the ball. Repulse the monkey. So you decide if you want to be simplified and do the bow and arrow, or if you want to swim move back and push the monkey off the cliff. One more step back. Drop the hands, step forward and hold the ball. Switch sides, holding the ball on the left now. Knee, kick, step forward, box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Diagonal step, high block and push through. I almost did brush the knee. High block and push through. Come back to hold the ball. Single whip to the right. Come back to hold the ball. Stepping back with the right. You decide if you want to do a swim move and push the monkey off the cliff, or if you want to do like a bow and arrow. For 2, one more step back. For 3, drop the hands and hold the ball. Okay, so you got 4 moves, 2 elements. I briefly got into breathing there and then kind of fell away from it. Here's what the breathing looks like. We've talked about it in every class. We breathe in as we hold the ball. We exhale as we do a move. That's pretty simple when it comes to the one and done moves like fair lady works the shuttle, we exhale, come back to hold the ball, right? Ward off, which we did in week 1, hold the ball. We exhale as we brush the knee, breathe in to hold the ball. Very simple for those moves. Where it got a little bit finicky is exhaling, inhaling on previous weeks like wave hands like clouds and Chen style ward off where we do the move multiple times. Today, the funny one is going to be repulse the monkey because we step back multiple times, right? You're not going to hold your breath and exhale for 3 step backs. That's not the goal. Instead, hold the ball here. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale as you pull the bow and arrow back, or exhale as you swim move. Breathe in as you push forward. Exhale as you pull the bow and arrow back. Breathe in as you step forward. Exhale as you pull back. And then inhale as you hold the ball. It's always lined up, right? The moves and sequences of Tai Chi are always lined up so that you do breathe in to hold the ball. At least in this family origin, we're breathing in to hold the ball. The idea is it's like this catch and release. It's grabbing the energy, it's using the energy. It's hot and cold, okay? It's in and out, right? This is the yin and yang of Tai Chi, is breathing. And for me, honestly, it's the most enjoyable. I like the breathing element. It's very calming. It's one of my favorite reasons, one of my main reasons that I love Qigong, that breath work class where we're moving and breathing the whole time, right? And we're pairing that movement with breathing. That's one of my favorite elements of Tai Chi because it's very expansive in the lungs and you're, I don't know, it's nice to focus the mind on breathing with movement. I like it. So you decide if you want to work on that element, if you want to work on just remembering what the moves are, right? Forgetting about the elements. If you want to work on a nice vertical spine, and I do recommend that you underline, highlight, italicize, bold, whatever. Focus on that one if you're here for low back pain. Keep a nice vertical spine because things get bound up down here if you kind of let that fall by the wayside. If you're here for balance, really focus on controlling every degree of motion and not stepping beyond your tipping point. Okay, so you decide which element you want to work on. You decide if you want to work on the movements themselves. I'm going to give it another go here. This time I'm going to face you. Last time I faced this wall over here. I'm going to face you for this round. Stepping with the left foot first, for me anyway, and then I'll step with the right foot afterward. You decide which way you go. It doesn't matter to me if you mirror me or if you follow the words left and right that I say. Doesn't matter to me. Holding the ball on the right. You want to give yourself enough space to do bow and arrow, right? Or repulse the monkey so you don't ram your elbow into a wall. So I got to get a little bit closer to you guys. Holding the ball, nice deep breath. Exhale for knee, kick, box the ears. If you're doing the breathing element, breathe in to hold the ball. Exhale for fair lady works the shuttle. Breathe in to hold the ball. Exhale for single whip. Breathe in to hold the ball. Exhale, pulling back. Inhale, weight shift forward. Exhale, pulling back. Breathe in, weight shift forward. Exhale, pull back for 3. Breathe in to hold the ball. Take an extra sip of air here as we switch sides. Then exhale for knee, kick, box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Diagonal step. This is high block and push through. Or at least that's what we do. The move is called fair lady works the shuttle. Hold the ball. Single whip. Hold the ball. Stepping back for repulse the monkey. Breathe in as we push. Exhale, come back. In as we push. Exhale, come back. Breathe in to hold the ball. Exhale, let it all out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think I'm going to do this same movement pattern. Well, obviously the same movement pattern. The same thing again here, facing diagonally for another view. Yet one more view. Let's see here. What can we focus on? We've got a fourth element that I'm waiting on. This fourth element, I'm not quite ready to work on myself yet today. I will do it in just a minute, but it's called flow, and we're going to get there in just a minute. But this one, I think it's so tricky that I would rather focus on the movements, even if they're choppy for now, and forget about flow for a second. If you want to work on it, you already know it from the previous weeks, that's fine with me, but I'm just going to hold off for a second. I think this is our third try at all 4 moves. Stepping with the left first, then the right. Again, you decide on which element you want to work on, or if you just want to focus on getting the moves down, making them more specified versus doing bow and arrow, push the monkey off the cliff, and swim move, right? Okay, so you decide how specific you want these, like single whip, that one can be tricky too. Here we are, you decide how tricky you want to make it. Holding the ball on the right, nice deep breath. Knee, kick, step, and box the ears. Breathe in to hold the ball. Fair lady works the shuttle, diagonal. Breathe in to hold the ball. Single whip. Breathe in to hold the ball. Repulse the monkey. Breathe in to push forward. Exhale, step back. Exhale, step back. Breathe in to hold the ball. Take an extra sip of air as we switch sides. Exhale for knee, kick, box the ears. Hold the ball. High block and push through. This is fair lady works the shuttle. Hold the ball. Single whip. Over to the right. Breathing in to hold the ball. Step back with the right. This is repulse the monkey. Push him off the cliff. Push him off the cliff. Exhale as we step back. Breathe in to hold the ball. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. So we've got 4 moves down and 3 elements that we've talked about. Our final element, which we've talked about each week, it's no surprise, is called flow. This element is, in my opinion, the trickiest, which I think I've said each week. And it's just because it's hard to think of the next move as we're doing the prior move. And you kind of have to know what's next in order to be good at flow. Flow means that we're not stopping at any point, right? So flow is this idea that if you don't, move it or lose it, right? If you sit down too long, it's hard to get back up. We get stiff, we get stagnant. So keep on moving. I think it's part of Tai Chi philosophy as well. It's not just for movement, right? This is things in life as well, if you want to go there. But let me draw attention to the difference. Here's what it doesn't look like. Fair lady works the shuttle. I'm going to step diagonally, stop my foot, then I'm going to weight shift, stop, high, and push, stopping. Then come back and hold the ball. See how I was really choppy there? There were several different stopping points. It also doesn't look like this. One fluid movement and then stop at the end. Then I come back to hold the ball. Doesn't even look like that. Flow, if you want to really work on it, should look more like this. You never quite stop. So I'm going to do multiple rounds of the same move here. I'm going to do like 3 of them. Step, push, and at the end there, don't stop. Just come right back into holding the ball, but don't even stop there. Go right back into fair lady works the shuttle. Don't stop at the end. Come back to hold the ball, but don't even stop there. Right into fair lady works the shuttle, right? So how that plays out in our pattern, it can get really tricky at a couple of points. For me, I usually stop when I hold the ball. That's just that's my challenge. I find this to be a rest zone. It's like base and tag, right? It's like where you park it. But we're not supposed to park it. We're supposed to just pass through and move on to the next move. So fair lady works the shuttle to single whip will look like this. Step, push, but don't stop at the end. Come back to barely, pass through, holding the ball, and go straight into single whip. It almost looks like I'm rushing it, right? So I compensate by going in super duper slow motion, but it almost looks like I'm rushing it when I hold the ball for just a half a jiffy and move on. So the other spot where that gets tricky is going to be when we switch from our right foot as our root foot to our left foot as our root foot. When you change your weighted foot, your stationary foot, here's what it'll look like. We'll be coming out of repulse the monkey, right? So I'll step forward, hold the ball, but not really, hold the ball on the other side, but not really, and right into knee kickbox the ears. So right from here's a diagonal. From repulse the monkey, I'm going to come to hold the ball, but pass through, switch sides, pass through, and knee kickbox ears. It looks like we're in a hurry, but we're not, I promise. Got plenty of time. Let's give it a shot with flow as our emphasis. This element does make breathing more challenging in my opinion. I think it's really hard to get the breathing in and out nice and perfectly when you're supposed to do it while focusing on the next move that comes. Maybe you're better at it than me. I don't know. That's fine. But it is challenging to work on all of these at the same time. So if you're here for low back pain, just make sure you're not wavering on that vertical spine when you also add flow in. I think the breathing one can kind of, you can mess that one up a little bit and it's not unsafe, right? As long as you're not holding your breath for the whole minute. Let's give it a shot. Here we go with flow. I think I'll go at this diagonal this time. Holding the ball on the right, nice deep breath. Knee, kick, box the ears, and I'm not going to stop at the end there. I'm going to float right into holding the ball and then go right into our diagonal step for high block push through, right back into holding the ball, come up into single whip, come back to hold the ball, step back for repulse the monkey, weight shift forward, circling up and back, weight shift forward, circling up and back, drop the hands, just barely hold the ball, switch sides, knee, kick, box the ears. It's a lot to say, so it sounds like I'm really hurrying. Switch sides, high block push through, hold the ball, single whip, come back to hold the ball, and repulse the monkey on side number 2. Here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. Drop the hands, and hold the ball. So right, if I describe every move that I'm doing, I have to basically talk the whole time. It's like a lot of blah, blah, blah. It feels like you're in a hurry almost, even when you're going super slow, because you have to think about what's coming next. Anyway, I think it's super fun to work on it, but it is a challenge. So there's our 4 moves. There's our 4 elements. I'm going to do what I've done every week and flip the script here, right? Which means instead of stepping forward, diagonal, sideways, and back, our first move for this pattern is going to be back, then we'll go sideways, diagonal, and forward. So we start with repulse the monkey, and we'll end with knee, kick, box the ears, right? So we start with our back move, go toward the front, we'll switch sides, back, side, diagonal, forward, okay? So it's going to be tricky, right? This is to keep our brains sharp. This is our brain teaser here. So it's fun to switch it up after we've been practicing one way the whole time. I would say pick an element that matters to you, whether it's breathing, that's great, or flow, or vertical spine, or controlling every degree of motion. You choose for yourself. And all right, let's give it a shot. Here we go. Holding the ball on the right. Nice deep breath. Stepping back with the left. And push. Exhale back. Breathing in as we push. Exhale back. Breathe in to hold the ball. Step left for single whip. Breathe in to hold the ball. Diagonal left, high block push through. Breathe in to hold the ball. Knee, kick, box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Switch sides. Stepping back with the right. Exhale. Inhale as we come forward. Exhale, swim, move back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, repulse the monkey on the right. Breathe in as we hold the ball. Single whip to the right. Breathe in to hold the ball. Diagonal step right, high block push through. It's called Fair Lady Works the Shuttle. Hold the ball. Exhale for knee, kick, box the ears. Breathe in to hold the ball. Okay, so if you were like, oh, those moves didn't seem like they had a lot of flow, that wasn't my emphasis. So I chose breathing as my emphasis that time. So I really wanted to exhale and inhale at the traditional spots where we breathe in as we hold the ball. That's the one I like to work on. So that's the one I chose. Anyway, just about done, friends. It's been 5 weeks and we've done 12 different moves. I'm going to do a final round here where we actually do 2 cycles. 2 cycles of these 4 moves that we did today. So what it looks like, this is a good way to really work on a specific element, by the way, whether it's flow, vertical spine, stepping within your tipping point, which is controlling every degree of motion, or breathing, or if it's just focusing on getting a move down. This is a good way to kind of connect the dots on one specific thing, because you kind of grind away at it, right? By repetition. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to step forward, diagonal, sideways, and back. Switch sides, forward, diagonal, sideways, and back. Then I'll switch sides again, forward, diagonal, sideways, and back, and switch sides again, forward, diagonal, sideways, and back. So it's 2 on the left, 2 on the right. I'm going to give it one last try here. And I'm excited. I think we're going to do great. We've done great so far. Here we go. Holding the ball. Nice deep breath. Coming on in. Knee, kick, box the ears. I'm focusing on controlling every degree of motion and flow here. Breathing in. Diagonal step. This is high block and push through. Come back to hold the ball. Single whip. Come back to hold the ball. Repulse the monkey. Push. Push. Drop the hands. Hold the ball. Switch sides. Knee. Kick. Box the ears. Come back to hold the ball. Fair lady. works the shuttle. Hold the ball, single whip, come back to hold the ball, and back with the right, repulse the monkey. Come back, and 3, drop the hands, hold the ball. Here's round 2 on both sides, switch sides, knee, kick, box the ears. Hold the ball, fair lady works the shuttle, hold the ball, single whip, hold the ball, repulse the monkey, and you're always welcome to go much slower than this, right? You don't have to go my speed. And back, but you do want to have good control. Don't flail into place. Drop the hands, hold the ball, switch sides, knee, kick, box the ears, come back to hold the ball. Fair lady works the shuttle, that's high block and push through. Hold the ball, single whip, we are almost there, friends. Hold the ball and repulse the monkey. For 2, 3, nice deep breath as we come back to hold the ball. Exhale, let it out. Everybody, give yourself a round of applause. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining for our 5-week Tai Chi series. Next up, I'm going to be releasing 5 shorter classes where we review these same moves, but we do it in a faster 8-round format. Okay, so unlike these classes where this was like a long lesson including moves and elements, those next 5 classes will include the same moves and elements, but I won't be talking about them as much. This will just be flowing through it together as a Tai Chi practice. So thank you guys so much. I hope you join for that as well, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.